Hello people, this is Simone, this is the vinyl tag of 2026. I finally make a video and I want to enter the VC. I have been collecting for 15 plus years. I've been part of the community for a long time and I've been watching so many YouTube videos and channels of people talking about records, showing records, and I think it's now time for me to enter and present myself. Big shout out to David Atkinson for compiling the questions for this year's vinyl tag. Just a little bit about me. I am a music lover. I've been collecting, as I said, for 15 plus years. We're talking records here. I was collecting CDs before, but you know, CDs were not a thing when I was growing up. It wasn't about collecting, they were still useful tools rather than collectibles and memories. For me, it's more about the music more than having the original, the reissue, the this and that. I don't care too much about it. Of course, it's nice to have original copies of stuff, but realistically, for me, it's more about the music. I come from a background of soul and funk, a little bit of jazz, hip hop, and all sorts of stuff. I do also like some Italian prog rock specifically, some pop, some Brazil, some all sorts of stuff, Latin. Yeah, and I'm just very excited to get started. It's a long list of questions. I'm going to try to keep it sort of not too long, but it's hard to, talk about something you love and not divulge too much information, but it is what it is. Also, I'm here in this location right now filming. I am based in London, UK. I come from Italy, and this is my parents' house where some of my records are stored, because space is always an issue, and when you have a life like mine where you don't really have a place or a house that you own, and you do a job that might bring you in different places, it's hard to have the collection in one place only, and I really don't want to have it in storage because that really just hurts me. um, and Lance from Permanent Records actually did a video on this, and he's absolutely right. Putting things in storage for me just makes no sense at all financially, emotionally. It just makes no sense. But without further ado, let's go into this year's Vinyl Tag Questions 2026. I have a list because my memory is rubbish. I remember what I have in terms of records, but gosh, anything else, I really struggle. But anyway, best purchase of this year, 2025. Easy, super easy answer. Edit. This is a phenomenal album. If you don't know this, just go and check it out. Let me show you this, because probably with the glare of the camera, this might not be, the best on camera. Hopefully it shows. But this is Crying Over Pros for No Reasons. This is a phenomenal sort of glitch hop electronic masterpiece. Gosh, this is such a good record. Literally faultless record for me. Really need a reissue. I have the original, but the original is like a 12-inch generic sleeve. I have it there, but I'm like, this is the real deal. Do you know what I mean? This feels like with the full artwork. So much better to own. Yeah, fantastic. I really recommend it. Next, best live experience of this year. One real answer, one not so real answer. Easy. Olafur Arnalds. I'm a huge fan of his stuff. Saw this live with my wife. Probably top 3 gigs I've ever been to. Just absolutely incredible stuff. This particular album is the piano reworks of his latest sort of album. But I got this only because he has this, and we got this sort of leaflet at the gig in London. So that's why I got this copy instead of any other albums that he did, which I own all of them. I'm not a completist in general, but for the things that I like, I just buy what I like. And if you're a phenomenal artist like this, there's a chance that I will own all of your stuff. Easy as that. So phenomenal experience. The live experience was just phenomenal. Sort of second answer, which I would have loved to see live, but I didn't, is Bremer McCoy, this phenomenal duo. Just, spacious, lush music. This is probably my favorite LP of that they did. I got the tickets to see them live in London, but unfortunately there was a huge tube strike and I simply couldn't make it to the venue. But I know they're coming back to London, so I know I will have a chance to see them again soon. Next question. Record collection in 10 years. More records, less records, the same? I would say roughly, maybe a little bit more. Because I always try my best to get what I like. And I always try to discover new music, whether it's new music for me, so even old music and newly released music. But in terms of collection, I'm at around just over 3,000 records. It now becomes an issue with space, and am I really attached to all of the records in the same way? Not really. Some records I really cherish. Some records I have because I really like them. Some records I'm now starting to think, do I actually really absolutely need this? So I know some more records will come in as some more records will go out. I think that's inevitable. And also you get to a point where you think, am I ever gonna play this ever again? And some records, I will probably only listen in my headphones when my wife is not home because, I have wife bothering jazz, I have wife bothering prog rock. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about that. Do I really need to own that piece? Same thing goes for originals and reissues. If it's something that I really care, I might have a couple of copies of that original and reissue of the same album. But then do I really need to keep all of them? Not really, but it is what it is. Then first play in a new home. I have 2 records for this. Absolute classics. Sorry, this is a bit of a boring answer because they're both classics. Tribe Called Quest, Law and Theory. This is original UK. I will get the original US, but I really love this because it sounds amazing, and it's on 1 LP, so it really doesn't break the flow of the record. And come on, classic. The other thing, but this is not as aggressive somehow, which I also really love because I don't want to make an entrance in a new home with the aggressive side of things. So this kind of represents me because it's still smooth but with an edge to it. And the other one is Slum Village. I chose Volume 1 because I think Volume 2 is such a classic. Everyone knows it. It's phenomenal. I have several copies of it, the instrumentals and all sorts of other copies of it, but this, I think, is somehow even better because it's somehow more raw. And what I would really love to have is the instrumental of Volume 1, because obviously lyrics are hit and miss when it comes to, appropriate language. And I'm such a white dude, Italian dude, this is not my experience. And even though I'm a lover and I'm a contributor to music and I support several things, I still, some of the lyrics are now becoming a little bit more questionable. Let's put it that way. So, but yeah, these 2 are absolute classic in general and classic for me. These 2 I really know front to back. Super phenomenal. Then favorite male and female singer. Now I come from a soul and funk background, but the moment the question was given, I immediately went to sort of singer-songwriter poppy stuff. Also just to show something else really that is within my collection. I mostly like female singers more than male singers. That's just, what it is. So if I look at my collection, most of it is female singers over male singers. But I still have some male singers that I really enjoy. So this immediately came to mind. Damien Rice. Some people might say very cheesy. My wife, she's the first one they would say very cheesy. But gosh, anything Damien Rice does is just becomes a masterpiece. I got this, but I could have got any other records, both the live version. We're still waiting for the 9 album to be released on vinyl, and I'm so looking forward to that. I'm really hoping it comes sooner rather than later. But this is just, gosh, every track on here is, this feels like a best of already of his work. I mean, Cannibal is the classic one that everyone knows, maybe from movies and like, you know, soppy Instagram reels and stuff like that. Um, or even, I think it was that or The Blower's Daughter. I'm not sure. But anyway, just phenomenal stuff. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Again, on the cheesy side sometimes, but it's just, yeah. Also, I started down, like, what, that's one of my records that when I had this, I was first introduced to this by my dance teacher when I started doing sort of jazzy, contemporary sort of stuff. And we used to have this on repeat for like a good year, just dancing to this all the time. Yeah, so it has a really special place in my heart, regardless of the music. So musically fantastic, but also for me, it's very, very dear to my heart. Female singer, same principle. Rumor, Season of My Soul, UK based, phenomenal singer. Her voice is just, oh, incredible because it's never over the top. It's just right where it needs to be. This specific album has Thankful, probably, I mean, all of this album I love, but the one that I really, really love is Thankful, the track. I discovered this in the music video exchange shop in London, in Greenwich. Sean P was playing it, and immediately caught my attention. I was like, I need to know what this is. And I'm so thankful that I heard this in the record store because, gosh, I immediately snapped it. I have everything that Rumor has ever done. Saw her live a couple of times. I really recommend this. This is such an easy listen because it's just so enjoyable, and everyone will love this record. Honestly, just, yeah, trust me on that. Go and check it out if you don't know it. Then, 3 soul slash dance record. Well, the moment I heard that question, for me, it was really all about sort of the music that really makes me want to dance. This is definitely one of them. I blame DJ Kirolos for this. Bruni Pagan, You Turn Me On. Really, really rare 12-inch from Motown. Probably the only 12-inch she's ever done on Motown. I might be wrong in saying that. But phenomenal music. The album, the Bruni Pagan album, it's okay. Not a big fan of that. But gosh, this 12-inch, this song is just, oh gosh, every time I hear it, I need to move. I need to groove. That's, oh, absolutely. Next, we have this classic Chicago Gangsters. Probably the Gangster Love song is the one that makes me want to move and groove all the time. There was a really famous showcase from Chris, one of the popping dancers here in Italy. He danced on this. It was a very emotional tribute to Greg Campbell Jr., one of the founding members of the Lockers, locking dance group. Anyway, sidetrack. I got this at Cosmos Records London, aka Yo-Yo Records London now. And I don't think I've ever seen another copy of this album. I know they reissued it now recently, but yeah, this is just, I mean, look at that cover anyway. I mean, honestly. And third, soul slash dance record. This is easy. Richie Family, I'll Do My Best. The title track is just such a very easy, danceable, just energetic, groovy track. I mean, this whole album is really nice, but this is probably the track that will get me move and groove. There's so many other things, obviously, that I'm missing, from Evelyn Champagne King to, I mean, honestly, I just look here and there's so many other records that make me want to dance. I'm a dancer first and a music lover, so a lot of my records, you know, that I buy, that I collect, come from the love of dance, and specifically sort of popping dance, hip hop, and also contemporary jazzy stuff, some classical. But so this is a great groovy popping dance record, if you wish. Just lovely. Next, track you hate from an album you love. this is easy. I mean, Donny Hathaway, absolute classic. I don't need to say too much about him. Oh, I love everything he did. But there's the classic "A Song for You" song, and I can't listen to that anymore. It's linked to a person, um, and sort of, yeah, it just this kind of spoiled it for me, which I hate that I hate this song because I love Donny Hathaway so much. I love this record so much. It just, yeah, I'm sorry, I have to skip it. It just, yeah, the memories attached to this to that song are not as pleasant. So I'm afraid that was a little bit spoiled for me, but it is what it is. I'm still grateful, but still. Next, one album from every decade, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s. Now, this was such a difficult question, but I just went with the first um, thing that came to mind. Because obviously, coming from soul funk background, a lot of the stuff literally behind me is like 60s, 70s, and 80s anyway. So choosing one was just difficult. So I just went with my gut instinct and something that I saw. I'm like, that could be a great one. So it's not a classic for everyone. It's not about having that. It's something that I attached to the decade. Let's put it that way. 60s, Crazy Elephant. This, it's not a common record. It's not a rare record, but it's just not a common record. I think I've only seen one copy, maybe two. 68, 69, I think, 69. The song Pam is a classic b-boy song, but this whole album is really, really cool. More on the rocky side of funk. I wouldn't even know how to call this, but more, I keep it in the rock section because it's not proper funk, but it's also, yeah, has some really nasty breaks on this. So, just this 60s for me. And I really didn't want to go with the classics, with the stuff that you usually see in the VC community because everyone loves these records. So I thought, let me bring something that might not be as obvious. 70s, easy. Ayers Rock. I mean, look at this album. This album has probably the drum sounds on this record are probably one of the top 3 drum sounds I've ever heard. Like if I think about good drum sounds, I think of this. I think of the Robert Glasper covered album, and yeah, these two really come to mind immediately. The sound of the drums on this is incredible. This is such trippy, proper 70s music. And look at this. Look at this. I mean, phenomenal. I love this. This is such a cool gimmick, but the music is amazing. Go and check it out if you don't know. I think it's Australian on the Mushroom label. Just, and I'm still looking for the other record that they did. Still don't have that one, but this is just, incredible. 80s, Sherry Lynn, Instant Love. If I think about 80s music, for me, I think of both boogie and very cheesy soulful ballads. And this has both both of those in great quantity. The Instant Love track is a phenomenal like boogie killer, and this also has in terms of ballads, probably the best one is the If This World Were Mine with Luther Vandross. I mean, what's more 80s than that? Again, great record, cheap, easy to find, but classic for me. 90s, I mean, look at the 90s hip hop here, but I could have gone with, as I already showed some, The Tribe, the Slum Village and stuff like that. So I thought, okay, with 90s sound for me, it was more about the 90s sound. More than the 90s hip hop sound. So this came to mind immediately. Lamb, the self-titled. I don't think this gets the recognition it deserves. Every track on this became a classic and very well-known album, and yeah, just incredible stuff. Still looking for the original, but this is a great sounding copy from Musical Vinyl. I'm very grateful that they reissued it. Obviously I could have chosen Portishead, I could have shown all sorts of other stuff, Hooverphonic, but that sort of, I don't know, today this got me. 2000s, original Alicia Keys Unplugged. I know they reissued it recently. yeah, just incredible. I love Alicia Keys. I think I have all of her records, I believe. Um, just absolutely incredible. And the Unplugged, simply, I chose this one over any of her albums because this is basically a best of her stuff. And it was really hard to just choose one record from her because everything she does is just gold. Um, yeah, absolutely fantastic. And the Unplugged is genuinely really good. So easy choice even then. For the tens, there's a couple of options, but this was the most obvious one for me in my head as soon as I heard that question. Daniel Caesar, Freudian. This is the original pressing of it. I know they reissued it recently again, but this is very dear to me because the um, the best part, the track best part, um, is really emotional for me because me and my wife really love that song. It was our first dance, so this has a very special sentimental value for me. But this whole album is just absolutely phenomenal soul, R&B. Um, Again, this is not that hard to find anymore. You can stream it. I really recommend you go and check it out if you don't know this. I'm not a huge fan of male vocals, as I said earlier, but this together with, like, I think of this as D'Angelo. The best D'Angelo we've ever had after D'Angelo is him. Uh, I know that's a big statement, but sorry. That's what I think. Next, a day with an artist. So many artists I want to hang out with. Probably, I would say Flying Lotus. As a beat maker myself, this is just the way he thinks about music and he sees and hears stuff is beyond me. Um, Also, the what I love is that it's not straightforward beat making, it's full-on composition, and coming from the jazz tradition of Alice Coltrane, and sort of being part of the Coltrane family somehow, you can totally feel that and see that and hear that. This is probably I don't know if it's my favorite record of his because everything yeah, all of his stuff is just favorite. This probably is the one that I don't know if I have to choose one. Would I choose this? I think I would. If you ask me another day, probably will be the Los Angeles one. But honestly, this is, and look at that artwork. So trippy. The table tennis song with Laura Darlington. Gosh, it's so trippy and it's so good. Um, and the must ask question is just what are your real, how do you make that music? How do you make this music that is so trippy but coming from the background that you come from? Like, how do you even get there with your mind and your sound? Do you know what you want to play before you play it? Is it part chance, part process, part everything is imagined, you just transcribe it? How does that work? Like his genius process, I want to know more about that. I think that there's real value in knowing people's processes, is because you can really take some of these things for you to adapt and try out, and and Flying Lotus, the process, the technicality of it, but also just the sounds and the full-on composition ideas is just beyond me. Then a track, next question is a track that makes you cry. Easy. Nail, For All We Know, this album. Me and my wife, sort of, when we first met, this was on heavy rotation for the both of us. So every track on this is just so special to me and to her. And again, we had the Adore You song playing at our wedding. So just thinking about getting to know my wife, the wedding, and just, yeah, we saw we saw her live together a couple of times. Absolutely phenomenal soul, R&B, UK based. Oh, incredible. That is one of those records that I would take in a fire, most likely. Not because of the value. This is the first pressing with the colored records. This is not something that has a lot of monetary value, but in, like, because I know we have another question later. I mean, look at that, fantastic. We have another question about the one Keepsake album, and that was a really strong contender. Um, yeah, but this was more an appropriate answer for me in terms of a track that makes you cry. God, I got emotional there. Next, 3 artists slash albums that you tried to love but didn't. This, some people might disagree with me here, but that's just the honest answer. Sorry, I said I'm gonna play the Tribe Called Quest Low End Theory for a new house. Their latest album, not for me. I tried to like I bought it. Sorry, not for me. I was maybe the expectations were too high. Maybe that's why I didn't really like it. Next is sorry, hip hop heads, DMX. Rest in peace to him. But just there's something about his voice that is way too aggressive for me right now. So I tried it. I had it for years, but every time I go back to it, I'm like, no, I can't. I play one track, maybe 2, and then I'm like, I had enough. Yeah, I see the value that he had in hip hop culture and music, but and some bangers. You know, he definitely has some bangers, but a full LP, I'm like, oh, that's a bit too much. And third one is, sorry again, but not sorry, Mac Miller, Best Day Ever. This is probably the one album that I'm okay with. I really don't get the hype. I really don't get the love that he gets. Again, rest in peace to him as well. I tried. I really tried. And this was the one that somehow was worth enough to buy. Somehow I thought this was a good one to buy. But then I'm like, sorry. I don't know if I will keep this or not. Yeah. I know it's controversial, but that's just the reality of things. Next question. Artist whose character disappoints you. Do I need to say, like, honestly? I don't have everything that Kanye did, but definitely the first albums, or the early albums, all of them, and this and a couple of other ones. The last sort of 3, 4, 5 albums I just didn't get. It's a shame because I really actually used to enjoy this a lot. It's hard to listen to this now. And anything that he's ever done. Very easy answer, but that's probably the most controversial person within my collection. So, yeah. One Keepsake album. Again, I said about the Neo album, In a Fire. I would take that potentially, but then the actual answer that came to mind first was this. JD. This is unreleased volume 2. Or we call it the vintage album. But yeah, unreleased instrumentals. Oh, the Dreamy song is, for me, beat making perfection because it keeps it so simple and yet so magic. The Dave Grusin sample is such simple roads, but there's something magical about that song. And this is such a killer. There's a lot of J Dilla stuff online and on records. I have most of it, not all of it, but most of it. But this is the one for me. Together with the Slum Village Fantastic Volume 1, this is just a touch above it. Also, this is one of the first records I've ever got. It was so cheap. Now it's really really expensive now, and it might not look like much, but yeah, this is good stuff. VC highlight of 2025 in terms of videos. I don't have an actual video highlight, but I have to shout out all the people in the VC community that post about records and show me new music and new records, from Dylan from Noble Records, obviously Mike from the In Groove, Nadine Soul Disco, Matt from Toonie Records. There's so many people that I follow, and I'm sure I'm forgetting so many of them. So I don't have a highlight video or meetup, but yeah, I'm just very grateful for all the people that having posting and sharing fantastic music, because it allows me to discover stuff. And even if it's not my stuff or my genre, it really allows me to discover new things. And some things, out of maybe 100 recommendations, I might actually buy 3 or 4 of them. But I check all of them out. And again, most of them might not be for me, but it doesn't matter. It allows me to open up my mind, my ears, my soul to new things. Um, so I'm grateful for all of the people in the YouTube VC especially. Next, favorite music biopic. Uh, there's one answer that came to mind immediately, which is this, Numero Zero. This is a very, very well done sort of documentary style DVD on Italian hip hop. Obviously, coming from Italy and being a hip hop head, this is a very obvious uh, biopic that really brings everything together, or the most important things in Italian hip hop together, with some really important people speaking in here. Um, yeah, go and check it out. Italian hip hop is something that is very dear to me. Obviously, it's not something that I might be able to share as much for the English speaking people, but it's still a big part of my collection and my love for music anyway. Um, Next, 3 reasons why jazz matters. It just does. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So when I read that question, I thought, okay, where do I even begin? Obviously, I have records, jazz records that go from the 50s onwards. So how do I even start talking about jazz? So I'm gonna keep it super short and simply focus on recent releases, because at the end of the day, for me, what's important about jazz is that it's political. It can always be new, whether it's vocal or not, in terms of actual having lyrics, political lyrics or not. It's just like abstract art. It allows you to open your mind to new options, new possibilities, new sounds, new combinations, um, much more than any other genre, I would say. Um, and it's really mind expanding stuff. However, sometimes when we talk about that, then we go into the really free jazz craziness that might not be for me. But people enjoy that, sure. But the thing is, for me, the jazz spectrum, it's so broad that and it's still all political. Even the easy jazz somehow can still be political and new and inspiring. So I just got 3 records more recent records that I really cherish when it comes to when I think of jazz. Um, starting with this, Tigran. Saw him live a couple of times in London. This is just one of his records. I have all of them. This is absolutely phenomenal stuff. I would say, I don't know if he likes to be called jazz, but I hope he does. I put this in the jazz section of my collection. Um, Incredible, incredible, incredible. He explores his background, his sort of origins, but keeping it universal. Really heavy stuff and really light stuff, really deep stuff. It's just absolutely must listen, must own record. But everything he does is just beyond. Um, Again, how can you be political without lyrics? Well, this is an answer. I don't know if he will agree to that or like that definition, but for me, that's, yeah. Next, when it comes to jazz, another reason why jazz matters is because it can be extremely lush. And it really pushes the sound forward, even if you somehow keep it traditional. I wouldn't say this is traditional, but it has traditional sounds and elements and instruments. But gosh, this is a phenomenal, phenomenal, deep record. Hampshire and Folt, obviously Greg Folt also did a lot of other releases by himself. I have a couple of those, but this is probably my highlight. Galaxies Like Grains of Sand. I'm really grateful to Jake from Love Vinyl for showing me this when it first came out, because it's just absolutely phenomenal, lush, deep record. Oh, jazz that I think doesn't get the credit it deserves. And lastly, I went to vocal jazz. Bringing the new the old into the new and the new into the old. I thought about this as the Jose James. Yesterday I had the blues music of Billie Holiday. This is a cover album. Um, this is actually a quite difficult album to find. It became quite expensive. Um, but I mean, the Strange Fruit cover on here is just that song is worth getting this album. Um, I think this really brings some, do we want to say old school sounds into the, you know, the contemporary world, and it pushes it forward. So I think it's a lovely tribute without being stuck in the past. That's also why I think jazz matters, because it allows us to keep the tradition going, and honor the past, but pushing it forward. So yeah, another one to check out, that's for sure. Next question. We're almost there, people. We're almost there. One last musical request. You're innocent on death row. What do you play? So many songs came to mind. This was the one that immediately came to mind, so I just went with that. Go Up Hele, Even Closer. Obviously, the song would be the Closer song. I'm Getting Higher, Closer to My Dreams. It's a bit of an ominous song. I could have chosen sort of Yakula kind of prog rock, very church-based, organ-based driven music, but I don't know. Yeah, this came to mind first. I think the game actually talked about this song, but I might be wrong. In an interview, he mentioned this song as to be always ready, queued up if something bad happens, I think. I might be wrong in saying this. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, yeah, lovely song. Again, I danced to this when I was a teenager, so it has a attachment to that. I have an attachment to that song anyway. But yeah, this came to mind, and I think it's a decent choice. Then, sell your favorite artist. So many favorite artists. It's always super hard to choose one. Let me go with this, Lala Hathaway. This album is something else. Everything on this album is amazing. As you can see, it's pretty battered because I played this to death. This is every time is right for this album. Lala Hathaway, phenomenal female, soul R&B singer. Her jazzy singer. I saw her like 2 or 3 times in London. You really need to make time and space for this. I think this is a classic 90s R&B album. Everything she does is just phenomenal. I think I have all of the things that she released, and I'm hoping for her to release the live album that she did. Probably the best live album I own, but I own it on CD. There's a vinyl version of it. It was an exclusive 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I didn't catch that, and I really regret that to this day. So I hope that the live album gets repressed. But this is just. She became famous online. There was a viral video of her sort of doing singing 2 notes at the same time. That is quite an impressive skill, to be fair. But even if you don't go into that realm of technical skill, this is just soul food. Absolutely incredible. VC Meetup 2026. I really hope to meet some more people in the VC, both online and in person, and really just share music and also connect with people that have a different tastes in music, because I feel like there's a lot of rock-based people in the VC, and I'm really hoping to connect with people that share a similar background and taste in terms of music when it comes to soul, funk, hip hop, R&B. Having said that, I'm really grateful for everyone that keeps posting about what they love, because that's what I care about, is sharing what you love, just like I share what I love, because it allows us to get to know each other better and discover new things, which is kind of the point of what we do, of what I do, why I do what I do this. But yeah, these for me are memories. I struggle with pictures. This is the way I remember events, things, people. And I want to hear more music, new music, make new memories, and that's it. I'm Simone. Thank you for watching. I'm sure I'll see you soon, potentially in a new location. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thanks David Atkinson for these questions for this year's vinyl tag. Thank you everyone. Subscribe to the channel. You do all that stuff, all the jazz, you know the deal. And I'll see you soon. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.